Wind, south 03, south 03. Fluvio, 233.0, 233.0. Barometric pressure in trend, slowly falling, slowly falling.
Just heading out for one last patrol. The transportation corridor through Rogers Pass is known to be one of the most complex and challenging avalanche control programs in the world. We average approximately 2,000 avalanches annually recorded along that section of highway. There's certainly a lot of weight that comes with the decisions that we need to make.
Single bench, target 3.
Ultimately, we're responsible for people's lives. And nature still has a tendency to surprise us.
Pretty much as far back as I can remember, I wanted to be a national park warden. Growing up, we had no electricity, no running water, so spent a lot of time playing outside. We had a really small house, but a huge yard, and that it was just endless national park.
Growing up in the national parks, it's something I really value, and the idea of contributing to that was something I wanted to do.
The mountain safety role really started in
Glacier National Park.
I had a really introductory knowledge of the avalanche world and realized how much more I had to learn, and I knew I wanted to focus on that.
Oh, I remember that.
You're like, this was a poor decision.
That's right. Right.
And maybe Amber?
Okay. He was a trooper, though.
Oh, he's awesome.
Very focused on staying warm.
Sylvia was a huge mentor to me.
She was somebody that I'd idolized a little bit. She's just incredibly accomplished, becoming a female mountain guide in a very small group of women, being part of the first female ascent of Mount Logan, but is so humble about it all.
The mountains were a huge part of my dad's life, and as a result, they became a huge part of my life. They gave me something that I could be absolutely passionate about.
How are you this morning?
I was just really drawn to Rogers Pass and Glacier Park. They offered me a position to manage the rescue program there. It just felt like the right fit for me, and I was really excited to work and develop that rescue team.
Surface facets or surface ore, size 2 to 6.
I got hired on as a park warden, so was working really closely with Sylvia at that point. We'd be doing all the rescue response as well as leading training, writing public avalanche bulletins, working on educating the public, but ultimately just making sure we're ready to respond to any sort of backcountry rescue.
I actually first met Danielle in Glacier Park. She was assigned to me, I was her supervisor. And I remember meeting her for the first time. She was very young and very keen and very competent.
Different models are showing them going up above 1,500 meters, 1,500 to 1,700 meters. Potential to get some rain on snow, which can definitely trigger some avalanches. That said, we're just gonna have high readiness. So we're on yellow form. We're gonna have one team going up to Fidelity today, and we're gonna keep a number of people down here ready in case, we have a motor vehicle accident, we need to close the road and keep traffic out of the danger areas, or, avalanche activity really picks up.
In the 1880s, one of the big ways the politicians envisioned making Canada a united country was to have a transportation corridor going from coast to coast.
The year is 1881. A small group of men push their way steadily eastward, quite unaware that their journey up the Illecillewaet River Valley in the Selkirk Mountains will make possible and confirm the confederation of the Dominion of Canada.
Getting through the Selkirk Mountains in particular, the Rocky Mountains were challenging, but the Selkirk Mountains are incredibly rugged, incredibly difficult to navigate.
These are perhaps the oldest group of mountains in western North America. The Selkirk Range, an enormous, silent island of rock. Here at last was the long-sought route through the Selkirk Mountains. And for the first time, we were joined together as a nation here at Rogers Pass.
Rail line was finished in 1885, and over that first 20 years, really, there were over 200 fatalities involving avalanches for the CP rail line through that section. And then if we fast forward the 1940s, the route was selected for the highway program. So they started making plans, designing the highway between the towns of Revelstoke and Golden.
There's no other place in the entire world that has the complexity of Rogers Pass. The weather patterns that affect Rogers Pass can be quite violent at times. And that's what contributes to the avalanche problem that affects both the railway and the highway.
The avalanche control program started in Rogers Pass to mitigate the risk of avalanches to the transportation corridor. And we also use avalanche control to mitigate the risk to the traveling public. Before the highway opened, they started looking into a partnership with the Department of National Defense.
Report bearing! Bearing 6041! Report angle! Angle! Point! Whoa!
Let her go.
Ah!
10-4, you're clear to move.
My team and I are constantly monitoring. We've got a whole series of weather stations. We've got field teams out doing snow profiles, testing how weak the snowpack is and how likely it is that we're going to have avalanches.
Surface form, new snow 2.0, new snow 2.0.
We're continually driving the highway and monitoring avalanche activity.
It's a huge consequence to the economy and to the families living in various places east or west of the pass when the pass is closed. The pressure to keep the pass open at all times is huge.
We have around 3,000 vehicles traveling on the highway on a given day and 24 to 32 trains. The current estimate of a 1-hour closure is around $3 million, and for a full day closure, closing the transportation corridor affects the movement of $77 million worth of goods.
There's periods of time in the winter where it's kind of all-encompassing. It's what you're thinking about all the time, obsessively checking the weather, monitoring conditions even on your days off.
Warming, but it's not coming yet.
Constantly thinking about what's happened and decisions that you've made and what you could do better, what you might do differently next time. It's sometimes hard to turn it off.
10-4.
I don't think backcountry users really recognize the amount of effort that goes into enabling that access and how tenuous that is.
So you were saying, like, the poaching, but what are the other big concerns you find?
I mean, those are really the big ones. We've been having parking issues in that, like, the parking lots are kind of...
We all think Rogers Pass is a really special place, and what drew us there is backcountry skiing.
When visitors started coming to Rogers Pass initially, the slopes facing the transportation corridors were permanently closed in the winter for any kind of skiing. There was increasing pressure to open some of these slopes facing the highway for recreationists. And the question was, how can we do this safely without putting anyone at risk? And that's where the permit system came in.
So permit, this goes in your pocket while you're skiing. This one goes on.
All slopes along the highway are technically closed all winter, and you need a permit to access them. The goal of the winter permit system is to separate the public from artillery, so that when I go to do avalanche control, I know that there aren't any members of the public in any of those areas.
Even if one person ends up in a closed area when avalanche control is happening, the consequences are potentially fatal.
You're clear to cross over gun position.
Let her go.
If there's any uncertainty about skiers being in areas, it could result in a loss of confidence and the entire system being shut down.
Purcells?
We're all really passionate about Rogers Pass. We all want to keep skiing there.
They are back already.
And we really work hard to protect the winter permit system.
This looks beautiful.
Getting into this line of work initially was drawn by the backcountry skiing part of it. What keeps me doing it now is the fact that it is challenging and I will never stop learning. Knowing that I've contributed to the protection and preservation of Canada's national parks, enabling access, trying to share these really special places with the public, I find that really rewarding.